Hi guys, I'm Sachthemotive. Let me motivate you. Today, the podcast is about who do you compete with? Now, we all heard on everywhere, motivational speeches, TikTok, wherever. You always compete with yourself. That's what I tell you to do. Compete with yourself. No one is your competition. I think that's wrong. You can only compete with yourself to a certain point. So let's say you can compete with yourself if there's no one else in this world. But unfortunately, there are people in this world. Here's why. If, let's say, you want to become a sprinter, let's just keep it simple. You run, okay? Now, if you're competing with yourself, as people say, that you are your only competition, then you've tried your hardest because you compete with yourself. You got your timer, boom, 10 seconds, okay? Then you try again, bam, 5 seconds, okay? You think in your mind that you're the best in the world. Then you go to a tournament because you've just been competing with yourself and nobody else. And now all of a sudden, you're there and you run, and these lot are doing it in 8 seconds. How will you win if there's a new standard of winning? Like, someone else has smashed your record of 10 because you've been competing with yourself, thinking that, yes, I am the best. But in real fact, someone out there has done it in 8, and they think they're the best. But they are better than you because they've been competing with everyone else and they've been working on that standard that needs to be beat. Do you understand? I hope that made sense. Meaning, you have to compete with other people. Your competition is the world that we're in. Unfortunately, as bad as it sounds, I would love to compete against myself, yes, but your competition, you're competing against everybody. No matter what you say. Comment below. I want to hear what you lot say as well. What you think about that. But you're competing with everyone else. I'll give you another example. Let's say you want to become a snooker player, okay? At home, I am knocking in these, I'm beating, I can beat everyone in my house. Alright, let's give you my example. How's that? I'm the best at snooker in my household, and my cousins and my friends and everyone. There's no one that can beat me. I'm not even joking. I've been training for years, and I am the best out of my household, my friends, everyone I know, okay? If I was to compete with myself in snooker, and I pull up to a tournament, I'll get battered like I have done in the past. Because you compete with yourself and you think you're the best. You pull up, you're hitting in a break of 20, 30. This guy's smashing in breaks of 80. Do you understand? You have to set that, you have to join them. If someone's up here, you're not going to compete with yourself. You might think, oh yeah, I'm doing amazing, but you're down here. If you want to compete at that level, you have to compete with this guy here. And then you're competing with someone else. You understand? So your competition is the world. So snap out of that I'm competing with myself mentality. Find the best in your little thing that you want. It could be anything. I want to become a YouTuber or whatever. Podcast, let's stick to YouTube, right? I want to become a YouTuber. Now, YouTube, if it's a different game, because there's so many different niches, so many different things. If you want to become the best at it, as in the best at what you do, then who's your competition in YouTube? Who's number one? Mr. Beast. Then you've got after that, I think it's Jake Paul or something. You need to compete with these people. You can't just walk in and say, I need to compete with myself. on YouTube. You can do that, but if you want to become the best at something, you have to compete with the people at the top. And that's this podcast, basically. That's what it's about. I just wanted to say that because I've heard it a lot where it's like, you're your own competition, you're your own competition, you're your own competition. If you're in no competition, then you're your own competition. Fair enough. Yeah, you compete with yourself, you don't really care. If you want to get to your destination, like you want to become the best at something or whatever, then you're not your own competition. Then the whole world is your competition. You know, let's say you want to become the richest man in the world. You might think I made £1 million. That's a lot of money. £10 million. But it's not. When you compete with the world out there, they've got billions. There's billionaires. Imagine you thinking you're a big man, walking about with £10 million because you made it. And then you're like, I'm the richest in the world. Someone else comes along and they're a billionaire. You're like, oh, hang on a second. How did this happen? Because I was competing with myself. You understand? Oh shit, there's all of a sudden, there's billionaires now. Well, how? Now I have to compete. You see what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is, you have to compete with others and beat their level. It's like Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyan, yeah? Vegeta, Goku. Vegeta is a prince or whatever and he's trained. Goku is just a peasant, right? Vegeta sees Goku. If Vegeta competes with himself, he would never surpass a level of strength because he'd never seen it. He's never gone past that. Goku goes past that, so he competes with him. That's what they show in Dragon Ball Z. And then he always competes with him because it's a level. So he has to compete with him because he wants to be the strongest. You understand? But yeah, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Comment below what you think. Who's your competition? Do you compete with yourself in this life, or are you competing with others? I personally think you're always in competition in this life. It's just the way it is. Whether it's a job, whether it's anything, you'll always compete here. It's just the way it is. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. I'm Sachthemotive. Let me motivate you. Let's get these podcasts rolling. Over and out.